How big a controversy was last night, that finish?
I'll tell you about two texts I got. One from a St. Louis fan who recalled the Don Denkinger call that worked against the Cardinals.
Wow.
So that's for the older generation. And then I heard from an NFL assistant type who said the missed call last night was as bad, if not worse, than the missed pass interference in Rams Saints last year in the NFC Championship game. So. Yeah, so those are some of the comparisons from the younger people to the older people. This is a big deal, Dan, and I'll tell you, you don't want to get too deep into the officiating because I'm not sure how many people are actually interested. Yeah. The NHL has a depth issue at the referee spot, and they've kind of done it to themselves because of some awful mistakes in earlier rounds. They have put great referees on the bench, so they've iced these guys. And they're way down their depth chart by the time they get to the Stanley Cup final. And so you're seeing referees in the Stanley Cup final who otherwise would not be calling these games. And that is definitely a factor in what happened last night.
Okay, walk us through the play.
Yeah, so it's Tyler Bozak and Noel Acciari of the Bruins, and Acciari has the puck, and the puck's in his skates, and Bozak is going for it, and just, it's a trip or it's a slew foot or it's somewhere in between. And you can even see that Bozak of the Blues has his palms in the air already ready to argue the call with the official. And the official doesn't even make the call. And all the Bruins then stopped playing because it looked so egregious that it had to be a penalty called. And so play was allowed to continue on. So it's sort of twofold. There's no call. You got the one guy already complaining to the ref about being sent to the box, which isn't even happening. And then you have the Bruins sort of standing around and watching what's going on, and that allows David Perron to really beat three Boston players and score the goal, which is, eventually the game-winning goal. So, look, it's a bad look, and Dan, this cup has been really good. This has been a really special Stanley Cup, based a lot on the teams and the market, right? St. Louis has been waiting for this for so long. This has been a heavy, hard-hitting series. And unfortunately, you get a call like last night, and that's what people are talking about. The front page of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch this morning blares, what a trip. You know what I mean? So we do love our clever newspaper headlines. So,
but also, I think the Blues prepared for a penalty. Leaves. I think they right. I can't sit here and go, boy, what are the Bruins complaining about? A penalty should have been called, and I think the Blues expected a penalty to be called.
No question, and they had their palms in the air also. The player Bozak of St. Louis, I think, was on his way to head for the penalty box, yes. And so he's not continuing on either. Good on David Perron to keep playing and score that goal. So look, a lot of we're going to talk about the call. I get it. Boston was dominant in the first period. This game should have been over in the first period. I think they outshot them. Outshot St. Louis 18-7. So there's a lot going on. And listen, we're not that far removed from Game 3 when Boston wins in St. Louis 7-2. Craig Berube, the still interim head coach of the Blues, goes on the attack the next day, Dan, and he goes 3 separate times in an 8-minute span. He goes, hey, in the first 3 rounds, we're the least penalized team in the NHL. And, he kept banging home that point. And, and you wonder if it's, the Blues discipline or actually the way it's being called in games 4 and 5. But the Bruins' power play opportunities have been cut in half. So, do we think St. Louis, smartened up all of a sudden, or did he really have an impact on how the officials are calling the series? So, and that makes for obviously a fabulous theater come Sunday night in St. Louis to see how that's called.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.